Well, all right, everybody. Thank you again for joining us for yet another version of the Lives and Lessons Learned from 100 Christians. Today we're doing somebody named William Booth. Some of you might know who this is. Fascinating guy. William Booth was a British social reformer and evangelist who was the founder of the Salvation Army along with his wife, Catherine. The Salvation Army is a global Christian organization dedicated to helping the poor, the homeless, the marginalized. His life and work offer profound lessons of compassion, perseverance, and even social reform. He was born April 10th, 1829 in Nottingham, England, to a working class family, faced poverty after his father's bankruptcy and death. Working as a pawnbroker's apprentice at age 13, he converted to Christianity at age 15, joining the Methodist Church, which ignited a passion for evangelism in him. He began preaching in the streets of Nottingham, focusing on the poor and the outcast. In 1852, he became a Methodist minister, but grew frustrated with the church's reluctance to engage with the destitute people. He married Catherine Mumford in 1855, a partnership that shaped his ministry. Catherine was a theological equal, advocating for women's preaching and social reform. Together, they moved to London's East End in 1865, where poverty and vice were rampant, founding the Christian mission, founding of the Salvation Army. That's what it was called, I guess. In 1878, the Christian mission was reorganized as the Salvation Army, adopting a military structure that Booth was seen as the general. They used invocative methods, brass bands, street preaching, and social services to attract and aid the poor. Focused on the submerged tenth, the poorest, who were often ignored by society and churches. They expanded services to include shelters, soup kitchen, and rehabilitation programs for alcoholics, prostitutes, and the unemployed. The Salvation Army grew rapidly, spreading to the United States, Australia, and even other beyond countries. By the 1880s, they faced a lot of opposition. They were ridiculed by the press, attacked by the mobs, called it the Skeleton Army, and criticized by churches for his unconventional methods. He published In Darkest England and The Way Out, a bestseller outlining systemic solutions to poverty, including job training and immigration programs. By 1912, the Salvation Army actually operated in 58 countries with thousands of corps or local units. His later years and legacy, he continued preaching into his 80s, despite failing health and even blindness. He died August 20th, 1912, in his home in London. His funeral drew tens of thousands, reflecting his impact. The Salvation Army remains active today, serving millions through social services and disaster relief. So what are the key lessons we can learn? A lot. Compassion for the marginalized. Booth's mantra, go for souls and go for the worst, emphasized reaching those society is overlooked. He saw dignity in the destitute, teaching that true service prioritizes the most vulnerable. So the application, actively seek out and support those ignored by mainstream systems, whether through charity, advocacy, or personal outreach. Another one is innovate to connect. Booth adapted to his audience using brass bands, catchy hymns, and military-style uniforms to make Christianity more accessible. His slogan, "Soup, Soup, and Salvation," addressed the physical and spiritual needs. I like that. So the application, meet people where they are, using creative methods to break barriers and build trust. Perseverance through opposition. Despite mockery, physical attacks, and legal battles, he was arrested for public preaching. He persisted. His resilience turned critics into supporters over time. The application is pretty obvious. Stay committed to your mission, even when faced with resistance or misunderstanding. Holistic service. Booth believed in addressing poverty required more than charity. It needed systematic change. His programs offered practical help, food, shelter, and jobs, along with spiritual guidance. So again, the application is tackle problems comprehensively, combining immediate aid with long-term solutions. I would have spiritual solutions. Partnership and empowerment. Catherine Booth's role as co-leader, in fact, this is a long time ago, showed Williams' belief in shared leadership and gender equality in ministry. He also empowered volunteers and former beneficiaries to lead. So the application: build collaborative teams and uplift others to contribute to a shared vision. Vision in action. Booth's In Darkest England, the book that he wrote, wasn't just a critique of poverty, but a detailed plan with measurable goals. He matched his vision with disciplined execution. Again, the application: pair bold ideas with practical steps to create a lasting impact. And the last one is, two more. Faith as a driver. Booth's deep Christian faith fueled his work, giving him purpose and courage. He believed God called him to serve the poor, which sustained him through hardship. And again, the application: ground your work in a core belief or purpose to maintain motivation. Last one, impact and relevance. His work transformed how churches and charities address poverty, emphasizing dignity, practicality, and inclusivity. The Salvation Army's model, combining evangelism with social services, remains a blueprint for modern nonprofits. His life challenged us to confront the injustice with courage, creativity, and unwavering commitment. All right, thanks so much. Interesting life. Take care. God bless. Bye.